Hey everybody, welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So this is kind of an update video. I want to discuss with you why I feel the way I feel right now. So welcome back to Starkey Farmstead, folks. I had so much I wanted to share about Devil's Den, and I will. That looks like it's going to be moved to tomorrow. There's just a lot going on, may even be moved as far back as Friday. So as you pop on, please hit the like button, check your subscription. YouTube loves to unsubscribe people. Pop over and chat, tell me who you are, where you're watching from. And I want to tell you what a lot of people don't understand about this shooting that just happened the other day where the Blackstone CEO was shot. I've got some information about that, but we're going to start with my dog first. So a lot of you, hey Kim, have been watching what's going on with Hammer. So let me just kind of do a little bit of backstory for you guys. So in Louisiana, we have something called the Louisiana State University Veterinarian School for Small Animals. Now, this is part of the Louisiana State University, which is an agricultural university and gets tremendous amounts of money, federal, state, local. That does not include endowments. It does not include donors. It does not include grants, right? So I took my dog, this is the second time I've been to this place, in an emergency situation yesterday to LSU. After keeping him back there for 4 hours because emergencies were happening, they finally bring him out to me and tell me it's an anal gland and to take him home. And I'm looking at him. He's obviously in horrific pain. Something's going on. I knew something wasn't right. So I asked them to walk outside with me to help me load him up because my 6-year-old German Shepherd can't load himself in the back of my Jeep any longer. While we're going out there, he falls out. They rush him back in. Well, I did a short. Yes, I was crying. Yes, I was distraught. When they finally called me back, like 3 hours after that, to the back, the veterinarian student doctor tells me, "We saw your short. We saw your short. We saw your video." I said, "Okay." "We didn't appreciate it." Exactly. I mean, like, do we not have First Amendment rights? I'm going to get to that, Serenity. I'm going to get to how he's doing, but I'm going to explain something to you guys. Not only does LSU vet school charge the students practicing to become a vet around, from what I can understand, somewhere between $25,000 and $35,000 a semester. They also charge people to bring their pets there. Okay. The bill, the estimate to have my dog get an MRI and a full workup yesterday was $7,100. $7,100. But this is how much money the Louisiana State University A&M started with. This is 2023 budget. This is the most updated one I could find. $135 million, $744,107 in their general fund, $10 million in their statutory deductions, $8 million for their interagency transfer, and their self-generated revenue. This is how much the school generates. $500 million in 2023. Yeah, you guys heard me right. So then as you go through and you're looking at all the stuff that they're involved in, LSU, their endowment income in 2023 was over 18 million. They got grants and contracts of over 2 million. Their indirect cost recovered means that when they worked with somebody else paid for the work or paid them back for the work, which is a form of grant, was $45 million. The college was gifted $5 million. All total was $174 million given to LSU in 2023. Most of that your tax money or rich people writing it off as a tax reduction. But they were going to charge me $7,100 to help me try to save my dog. Now, this is what I want you to understand. The students that are working there are paying. They don't get paid. They pay tuition to work there. There's a few real vets there as teachers, and of course they pull a salary. But they have a vet school that charges more money than private veterinarians do to practice on your pets, but it's funded with my tax dollars. I totally agree. Maybe they should have used their time to help my dog instead of watch my video. I totally agree. It was a 3-minute short. Now, I paid them $505 for blood work, I guess an ultrasound, and about 3 different specialists to not be able to tell me a word. No x-rays, no nothing. I bring him home last night. I get him comfortable. My husband takes him out to use the bathroom, and he's in obvious pain. So my husband comes back in and he tells me, Samantha, there's something wrong with his butt, like around the butt. He was correct. Our private vet saw him this morning. Now, let me tell you what else happens. I take him to my vet this morning. I get there at 9:16. I couldn't load him myself. My husband had to leave work, come home, load the dog for me to rush to the vet all the way across town. It's almost an hour one way. I get there. They have to unload him. The vet checks him. The vet, my vet, says call LSU to his secretary and have all of Hammer's records sent over immediately. Do you guys want to know what LSU told them? Oh, well, the student vet is the only one that signed off. The actual vet has not reviewed his records, so we will not email them. That's what they told the secretary. So I walked outside. I called LSU. And she's like, well, you've got to understand procedure. I said, ma'am, I do understand procedure. For you guys that may have never seen me before, I have a master's plus 21 hours. If anybody understands friggin' procedures in universities, it's me. I spent 10 years there. Not to mention, I'm an educator, so I understand legal documentation has to go through proper channels, right? But you've got an emergency situation with a dog that is obviously in pain, and you guys couldn't diagnose him. So when the vet that is his patient says, send me the records, the response should have been they are on their way. Now, I do maybe think they could have put a disclaimer. These have not been reviewed by our veterinarian staff. So they, you can't sue us, whatever, right? I understand that. I'm not debating that. I'm simply saying I am at my veterinarian that has cared for my dog for multiple years, and we are requesting medical records from your facility, and your answer is they have not been signed by a veterinarian? Okay. Y'all got the right one, LSU. You get $500 million a year, basically, and you're charging taxpayers that you wouldn't have a facility if I chose to quit paying my taxes and everybody else here, right? If we all just said, crap, we're done with you stealing our money and we all stop paying taxes, exactly how would you function, LSU? Because you're like a money hole. And I hope that someone high up in LSU sees this video. I was in your waiting room for 3.5 hours with nothing. Nobody told me anything. They apologized, and I appreciated that when they came out. They had a bunch of emergencies. That's what they told me. But I sat there and watched a young man bring in a dog that was obviously lethargic, and she was, and my heart broke. But when your people asked him how he was going to be able to pay, his answer was, my girlfriend works here. And y'all took his dog straight back and came back and got him 20 minutes later and had a diagnosis for him. I was in your clinic from 9 something in the morning till 4 something in the afternoon. And I had a almost doctor fuss at me for making a short when my dog fell out on the hot concrete because your people wouldn't listen to me. And then you charged me $505 and refused to send the medical records in a timely fashion when my vet requested them from you, LSU. And then when I told you guys, when you said $7,100, I said, I can't do that. I work only in cash, but I will clean my bank account out to save this dog. Can I get just the MRI and let him spend the night here and do just the MRI and get the results? You had a doctor come in and explain to me that that would basically be worthless. So because I only had $3,000, I didn't have $7,100. My dog wasn't worth it. So I left and I brought him home and I anointed him with oil. I prayed over him and I read him all about how he was created by God in the book of Genesis. Something LSU would do good to remember once could have been considered a very stronghold for Christianity. So I took him to his vet this morning, and this is what we think is wrong with Hammer. When Hammer was about 4.5 months old, he fell in my pond. Well, my pond is kind of odd because there's a shelf, almost like a waterfall. It's about 5 feet down. The pond was flooded, and there's almost like a cave underneath. It's just weird how it's set up. Anyway, I couldn't reach him, and the water was very deep, and he was like struggling. He was a little fat puppy, probably 4.5 months old. So I laid on my belly and I leaned over the cliff, and the only thing that I could grab was his tail. So I pulled him up by his tail. Come to find out, my vet truly does believe that there is something wrong at the base where the tail attaches to the spine. And I feel responsible for that. There's nothing wrong with him neurologically. His blood work looked really good. In the morning, I will be going back to my veterinarian's office, and we will be sedating Hammer on an empty stomach. And I will be having x-rays done at my veterinarian to double check everything. If nothing obvious shows up in the intestines, in the spine, then from there, the only thing left for us to do is go to see the specialist my vet wants me to see. I have no idea how much that is going to cost. But I feel like LSU has become just another corporate veterinarian money grabbing machine. So I wanted to share that with you guys, what's actually going on. He is resting in the other room. He is in some pain, but I am doing the best I can to mitigate that. I appreciate your prayers, the ones of you that sent $1, $10 or more because the Lord put it on your heart. Thank you. Thank you. Because with what my husband's going through and having to miss work, next week we've got neurosurgery for him and all of that, you'll never know how much it means. A lot of you have watched Hammer grow up. You've seen him, how amazing he is, and he is amazing. Thank you, Nor. I do want to explain something to you guys. Earlier, I was looking up something to do with BlackRock and Blackstone. A lot of you know that the Blackstone CEO was murdered. My daughter pointed this out to me. She said, Mom, they're trying to cover up something. All right. Why so many people get Blackstone and BlackRock confused, okay? Because the CEO, Steve Schwarzman and Larry Fink, did it on purpose. Okay? They did it on purpose. Let me find this for you. All right. Imagine BlackRock being named Black Pebble. Steve Schwarzman, the billionaire co-founder of Blackstone Group, said Thursday on CNBC that he gets a real chuckle about the confusion between his private equity firm's name and Larry Fink's BlackRock. During an interview on Squawk Box, Schwarzman told the behind-the-scenes story about the similar names, saying Fink and he decided decades ago to do it on purpose. The business that would become BlackRock started under the umbrella of Schwarzman's firm in 1988. They used to be called Blackstone Financial. We started in business together. We put up the initial capital. Schwarzman started Blackstone 3 years earlier in 1985. When Fink decided to branch out on his own, he needed a new name for his asset management corporation. Larry and I were sitting down and he said, what do you think sort of about having a family name with Black in it? So Steve Schwarzman, the CEO of Blackstone, and then there is Larry Fink, is the CEO of BlackRock. Schwarzman said that he told Fink it was a good idea, despite outside adversary warnings to both of them to make sure you don't have a name that's similar. They did it anyway. So BlackRock was the name chosen. So there's a little confusion. And every time there is confusion, these two men laugh about it. They think it's funny. Imagine BlackRock, which grew into the world's biggest money manager with $5.4 trillion in assets under management, being called Black Pebble. So BlackRock has far surpassed Blackstone in its assets under management. But Schwarzman's firm still holds $368 billion. Now, let me see if I can find it real fast for you guys. I found some other interesting information, and I wanted to do this in a different type of video, but I don't have much time. I'm very, very behind on doing the stuff that I need to get done because of my dog's health. Let me see if I can find it. I guess I did not do it. But anyway, I found some really interesting information on Steve Schwarzman, and I highly suggest you guys dig into these people because they are tied in to all the way up to like the Federal Reserve and all these nonprofits and NGOs that work around the world to like change who's controlling the world. So I did want to explain to everybody what was going on and tell you guys that I greatly appreciate your love, your rowing in the boat, your understanding that right now my energy and my heart is being poured out to my husband and to my dog. And I do believe it is a spiritual attack. It is why I tithe. It is why I pray. It is why I anoint the things that I love and care for with oil. It is why I walk in faith. But I can tell you guys how many times that my God has been so good to me. And I will give those testimonies very soon. Because I think people too often we focus on what's going wrong, that we miss what is going right. And what is going right in my life right now far surpasses what is going wrong. It's just that is what is going wrong breaks my heart. However, I am very thankful for everything the Lord has done for me today. So if you guys would come in prayer with me, I need to get off. My husband will actually be here in 5 minutes for lunch. I just walked in the door. there's nothing cooked. So, dear Heavenly Father, I just give you the praise and the glory. I thank you so much for an old timey vet that cared enough to explain to me what was most likely wrong with my dog, who's willing to go that extra mile to help me figure out what is wrong. I rebuke LSU Veterinary School and everybody involved in it for their lack of compassion and understanding, for their obvious money laundering and stealing from those who already pay for their facility to be there. Lord, I come against these antichrist systems that come to break and to steal, to kill and destroy your children. I am a tither, so I can walk in the understanding that my Father will rebuke the devourer on my behalf. I am a princess of the Most High King, and my Father will make a way where there is no way. And I thank you that right now my German Shepherd is very comfortable and resting, and I give you the glory for that, just the peace of mind that he is okay right now. In Jesus' most precious name, amen. I love you guys so much. Be blessed. If you would like to row in our boat and get our newsletter and be invited to our Zoom links, I will add it in the top of comments. Please understand, some people have been sending money on Cash App. They're like, newsletter, where do you want me to send it, baby? I don't have your email address. So when you send any donation, I will hook you up with the newsletter. But if you don't put your email in the memo, I can't do it. So I love you guys. Be blessed.